Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to hike to both peaks of Saddleback Mountain, Modjeska Peak, Santiago Peak, from Maple Springs Road or Trailhead. Now there's a few different ways to get up here. This is not my favorite way, but the other ways have some problems right now. There's Holy Gym, which in June of 2022 is officially closed. I know some people have been ignoring that, but that is closed right now. Maybe that'll change by the time you go. And there's another way up the Joplin Truck Trail, which has some problems and inconsistent parking situations. Some people are getting ticketed. So I wanted to show you another way to bag these two peaks where you don't have to worry about dirt roads, getting a ticket, or anything sketchy. Now we're going to go up from Maple Springs. Maple Springs, I'm going to show you basically how to get here from the end of the pavement. So we're going to ride up Maple Springs. We're going to park at the end of the pavement, and then we're going to hike up a dirt road for about half of this, and then go on to a single track. Now, the dirt road isn't the prettiest of parts. I mean, there's definitely worse hikes in the world, but it is open to 4x4s and motorbikes. But once we finish that initial portion on the dirt road, I'll take you on some single tracks up to Modjeska Peak and then up to Santiago Peak, which are quite nice and not really traveled much. So that's what we're going to do. Now, as always, I have a full guide on Hiking Guy where I'll talk about the parking situation, what Maple Springs Road is like, how to check if the gate is closed. So go to the website, HikingGuy.com. I'll put a link to this guide right underneath the video, so check that out before you go. And thank you, as always, to everyone who supports the site. This video is actually for a supporter, so thank you for your generosity and support over the years, all of you guys. I appreciate it. And again, if you just want to say thank you for the video, you can just give me a thumbs up. It's as easy as that. All right, let's get on the road and do some peak bagging.
All right, so we're going to park right by this boulder at the end of the paved road. And there's a couple spots there. I'll talk a little bit more about parking in the guide, but right from here, we're going to start hiking up the dirt road. Now, we're going to share this road with motocross people, 4x4s, mountain bikes, trail runners, all of that. So just keep an ear open. You can usually hear them coming from a while away. Right away, we're going to get some nice views up towards Bedford Peak over there. And the nice thing about this is even though the beginning of the hike is on this dirt road, the views are pretty spectacular. We're still in the heart of the Santa Anas here. You can see there's some old guardrails. I'm not sure what exactly the plans were for this road, but it just sort of ends the pavement. You can see nice views down into Silverado Canyon. Now, if you look on a map, there's a trail that sort of cuts through these switchbacks. You can see it up there to the right. I've tried hiking on that. It's pretty overgrown. I mean, I went right up there for a while, and you're going at a snail's pace. I found the road to be much easier to take, so do what you will, but there is a trail that goes straight up there. It gets a little bit better as we get closer to the top. Right in front of us there is Modjeska Peak, that bump in the distance. That's going to be our first peak of the day. And we're going to go through some wooded areas. The day that I was here, right off to the side there, it's a little viewpoint. There were some teenagers in there. When I came back down, they had started a fire, and the fire department was here, which was pretty crazy. But what are you going to do? Anyway, you'll see it's wooded. There are some springs here. This is Big Cone Springs down in there. And Maple Springs is closer up to the end of the Maple Springs Road that we're walking on right now. So there are sections that are a little bit more lush. There you can see Angeles National Forest, or the high points poking out in the distance, Mount Baldy up above the clouds as we continue up. That's about 4.5 miles of this dirt road. Towards the top, there's a little spur going back. It just sort of dead ends. We're not going to take that. We're going to keep going straight up here to an area called Four Corners. As we get to the saddle, there you can see San Jacinto, San Gorgonio over on the other side. Really great views from up here in the heart of the Santa Anas. Now you can drive up this road. It is doable, and again, I'll talk about that in the guide on Hiking Guy, but if you do, you're going to park over here on the right-hand side. The road going down over there is Harding Truck Trail, but we're going to go up on Maple Springs and continue on Main Divide for a little bit before hopping on to a single track, which you'll see in a second. And it's not long that we're on Main Divide up here, but we're just going to go through, make the right, and here you can see the Santa Ana style trail marker, that welded Main Divide trail. And we're just going to go through this gate, and then once we're through the gate, you're going to look off to the left for this little single track going up. The beginning is a little steep and loose, but once you get up this, you'll be on a single track. Now, this isn't an official trail. It's been here ever since I've been coming here, and it is always pretty clear. It does get a little overgrown, and you can see how it is, but nice views down there towards Laurel Spring. But it's definitely a trail, and it's not bushwhacking. It's not like the one I mentioned earlier. You can definitely navigate it and move at a decent pace up here as you climb up. Here we're going to join at the saddle a trail coming back from the left. That's another connector trail to Main Divide. Great views up here at the saddle. You can see it's a little breezy too because the wind is coming up and over the saddle here. But we're going to continue going uphill towards Modjeska Peak, straight ahead. We go through some of this burn area here from the 2018 Holy Fire, which kind of clobbered this whole area. It's nice with the, I guess that's mustard growing in. But one of the things I like about this hike is that some of the sections of the single track are covered here in these oaks and everything. Really beautiful. You'd think it would be totally exposed, but there definitely are some sections like this where we have a little bit of a canopy that we're going in. Now this trail is going to dead end or come out at the Modjeska Peak access road. That's Santiago Peak in front of us there. And we're just going to make a right. And when we come back, you're going to see the trail right here on the right. That's where the trail continues. So we're going to go back down that once we're done Modjeska. But for now, we're going to go up towards Modjeska. Now, there's two ways. We're going to go left. Don't go right unless you're a total masochist, but go left. It's a little bit nicer, a little longer, but the views here are pretty beautiful, and it's mellow. You're away from the antennas and the 4x4s and everything. This is one of my favorite little sections of trail because it seems much more mellow than the other ones that are closer by the road. And as we come up to the, I guess, east side here, you can see the mountains in the distance there. We're going to go ahead and come on up and make the sweeping turn around this bend here. And when we do, again, we'll be able to see Santiago Peak, which is the other side of Saddleback Mountain. Used to be called Old Saddleback Mountain, and Modjeska Peak used to be called North Peak. And there's Modjeska right there. We're going to continue this little way right here, and here is the peak. It is an official named peak, but there's not a survey marker here. You can see Santiago over there where we're going next. And sometimes there's a sign. Today there was just a sign post there. Sometimes there's a register. You can look around, and if you really want to go to the highest point, you can just kind of go around this little area of brush and climb up to the rock to get to the unofficial high point, I guess, of Modjeska Peak. Now, once we're done here, we're going to head back down. And I had mentioned some kids that started a fire. That was after or while I was on this trail, and you could see there was a bunch of helicopters flying over to that area, and actually passed the fire crews putting it out when I drove, when I hiked back down here, back towards the car. Now, when you're done there, we're going to come back down, and now we're going to go back on this the single track that we saw when we came out on the Modjeska Peak access road here. And we're going to take this single track all the way down to the saddle of Saddleback Mountain. A little redundant, I guess, but this is, again, a nice clear single track, not too bad. And we're just going to head down here until we get back down to the saddle. And when we get to the saddle, we're going to go back down onto Main Divide Road just for a hot second. You can see there's a little split right past the saddle there. We're going to head off to the left to do another little single track experience like we did. Here you can see the split. The main road is on the right. The trail is up to the left. We're just going to take that trail to the left right here. Just head up this, and then you'll see a little gate, and we're going to go around this gate, and then we're going to be on another single track that's going to take us almost up to Santiago Peak here. And again, you can see it's not the widest or well-groomed of trails, but it's definitely a trail, and it's definitely there. We're going to pass this truck wreck, which I believe was a wreck from 1988 when a few people died when the truck rolled off of Santiago Peak. I'm not positive, but that's what I think it is. But we're just going to continue up this. It's going to twist around a little bit. And you can see there are parts that are shaded here as we continue up. And eventually this will dead end here into Main Divide Road, our old friend, as the mountain bikers call it, Pain Divide Road, because of the ups and downs, steep ups and downs. And once we get here, we're just going to go up to the right. We're not going downhill at this point, still a little bit of climbing up to the antennas up there. There's about 20 antennas altogether up on the top here. And again, there's a nice little shaded section. This can get brutally hot in the summer. This is a better winter hike, but there are some shaded sections as we go up. Here we're going to go through the gate into the little complex where the antenna towers are. And as we go up here, if you've done this peak before, this will look familiar. There's the sign down to Holy Jim, which we're not doing today. We're just going to go up and bear to the right here, up through the antennas. You can see there's a lot of different access roads to all different antenna complexes. If you just stay right until you get to the top, the road will wind around to this structure, which is used to be the old fire tower structure. Now the antennas have taken over where the fire cab was, the tower cab. We're going to go to the back of that building, and around the back you'll see this little path right here, and this will take us up to the summit, which does have a summit marker as an official summit of Santiago Peak. There's the benchmark right there. And then this is it. Here are your great views of the Santa Anas. This used to be called Santa Ana Peak, by the way, at one point, not anymore. And then when you're done here, you're just going to head back down the way you came. Obviously, you don't have to bag Modjeska again on your way back down, but we're just going to hike back down the way you came, and yeah, that's the hike. All right, so here's the hike route. It's an out and back starting from down here at Maple Springs Road all the way up to Modjeska and then Santiago. You can kind of think of it in two parts. There's the dirt road that goes up to Four Corners, which is right here. And then there's the single track portions which bag the two peaks of Saddleback. So let's come on down here to Silverado Canyon, which is right down here. And this is the part where you can drive up. There's a gate down here, and I'll talk about parking in the guide, but there's a gate that's usually open unless there's a high fire risk or a bad weather situation. But we're going to drive up this part, which is all paved, until we get to this hairpin turn right here, which is where the pavement ends. And that's where I showed you the parking starts. There's a big boulder there to kind of mark the spot. And then we're going to start climbing up the road. Now I mentioned there was another trail. You can kind of see it here, and you can see some sections are definitely clear and some sections are definitely overgrown. This satellite photo is from 2019. I have done this in the past and it wasn't so bad, but in 2022 this part at least was not in great shape. But anyway, we're going to wind up Maple Springs Road here. And there you can see the trails continuing up the ridge. It's definitely a harder hike as we go up, as you go up there. And the road winds around a little bit more, has more traffic, but is you know, a little bit easier to handle. This is that little spur that we passed. And then we come up to Four Corners, which is here. This is the Harding Truck Trail going down there. If you did drive up, you're going to park there. Then here we come up to Main Divide. We go through that gate, and then here we hop onto the single track. And if I scroll up a little bit here, you can see we go up. This is that trail that came in, that little shortcut trail. You can see we're right above Main Divide here on the single track, and then we come up to the access road. Now you can go up Main Divide too. It's obviously longer, not as nice, open to traffic. You know, some guides have you going that way, but I don't think it's as nice. We're going to come up here, bag Modjeska, come back down. And then here was the continuation of the single track down the other side. We parallel Main Divide, we come down to the saddle right here, and then we split off the saddle onto the other single track, past the wreck, do a little bit of winding up here, and then pop back out onto Main Divide Road, which is right here. Then we take the road up to the summit area. Now the summit area can get a little bit confusing. There is a road that goes back that way. Remember I said come in here, just stay right. Here you are staying right. There was that other turn, we're staying right until we get up towards the summit part. We're making the, we're twisting around up to the high point. This is where the old fire tower was right there. And here is the summit area. And yeah, that's the hike. Hope you enjoy it. Just another way to bag old Saddleback. All right guys, I'll see you out there.